Chuggalos, welcome back to episode 377 of the Brew Crew podcast. This time coming for a solo episode because I was sitting here thinking, I was like, I'm going to be gone for a few weeks, and JT and I were talking back and forth, and we were trying to figure out a tempo or something, and this is just less equipment for me to take, so it's a flex, or as I colloquially call it, a fuck off Friday for me. So I was like, I can hammer out a solo episode. I just got back yesterday. I had to pick up some stuff from our friends down at the Barrel House with Gimmick Gus that I had ordered and set aside, and Gimmick Gus gifted me a few things, so there's going to be some of those in the upcoming episodes. I want to make sure that I have JT on tap for those. But I was like, you know what? I've got the time, I've got the means, I've got the energy, and I'm really excited to do this. So I always like doing solo episodes just from the technological standpoint because I have so many things available to me, be it the website review, be it when we're doing a new type of beer, like today we're going to be doing a new type of beer that we've never done before, so I can read up on it a little bit and enjoy it as I'm talking about it. So without fail, this isn't going to be posted for a couple of days. I thought back and forth, I was like, do I act like I'm recording this on a typical Monday? Nope, it's going to be a Friday. I'm just going to release it on a Monday. So hello to the future. The first beer, I'm excited. This is a debut brewer and a debut type of beer. This is Happy Hollow. Look at that. Such a unique bottle. Wohlegemut. It's a 13% bourbon barrel-aged Munichwine. We're going to go into what a Munichwine is, but this is out of Happy Hollow. Happy Hollow is out of Nelsonville, Ohio, which I had to look up. And most beer, typically, when I don't know about it, I'm just going to say it's like the Cleveland area. 3, 2, 1, let it fly. And this happens to be, I could bring it up on, you know what? I'm going to actually bring it up on the map. Let's go to the Nelsonville map. So Nelsonville is right here, and it's southeast of Columbus. There's Dayton, there's Beaver Creek. That's the home of the BCP. So it's just a population of 5,000 people, Nelsonville, Ohio. So there we go. We've got that down. Okay. So it's a 13% bourbon barrel age. What better way to do it when I don't have anywhere to go, anywhere to be? Wohlegemut Munichwine. All right. First taste, got this from my friends at the Barrel House. Should we start with Happy Hollow, or should we start with what a Munichwine is? We should start with what a Munichwine is. A Munichwine, straight from Google. A high-gravity barley wine style beer defined by a grist comprised of German Munich malts. Makes sense? Or Munchen. If you're in Germany, it's all the signs that if you pronounced it like a dirty English person, it would be Munchen. Resulting in a rich, rustic bread, caramel, almond, and cherry cordial character. It's interesting. Once I read it, I totally get that. Often aged in bourbon barrels, to enhance its complex sweetness, these beers frequently reach over 13% and are considered a wine type of beer. Okay, first of all, first impressions, I get all of that. Reading it, I'm not being influenced by another person, but I'm obviously being influenced a little bit by Google because I get that caramel, that almond, or that marzipan a little bit because that's the texture, but then that cherry cordial, which is like that thick, syrupy molasses. I was trying to combine it slick all into one. And I'm just a dirty animal, so I'm just drinking it straight from the bottle. I want more of these. I might have to talk to Chuggalos Seth about Munichwines because this is absolutely terrific. And I think and look at how unique that, it's just a small, they just glue a placard. I've never seen this. The bottle is what attracted me to this. And then I started looking a little bit more, but look at, it sticks off. Yeah, it's a good one-off. It's got a label. But yeah, that's it. Brewed and bottled, Happy Hollow Brewing Company, Nelsonville, barrel aged, 1.9. And again, it's just a unique, almost a torpedo or a bowling pin. That's obviously a bowling pin bottle. I don't know what they would call that, but I'm going to say a bowling pin bottle. This is my first beer. And in a long time, probably, from a bowling pin bottle. All right. This is not a very old style of beer. It was coined by Private Press Brewing around 2020, so around COVID. So it's a rather young type of brew. Specialized subset of barley wines. Intense maltiness, cookie-like flavors. I don't get cookie. Toasted notes from high percentage of Munich malts rather than the caramel focus of traditional English barley wines. Okay, now that they invoke English barley wines, I'm going to have to get Gimmick Gus on this. He was a little bit busy. We were able to talk a little bit yesterday. He suggested another bottle, which is already tucked away in the cellar. Okay, this is fantastic. I'm wondering what bourbon it is, too. It doesn't have, like, the sharpness. It's very luxurious to drink. It's luxuriating on my palate. I mean, 13%, it's a relatively smooth drinker. You can see how much I've consumed out of the bottle. Let's check out the website review. There's not a lot to offer, spoiler alert, on this website. So you go to happyhollowbrewing.com. It's got their home, their catalog, and their contact. Know about us. And shop all. Again, that looks like another bottle, another bowling pin bottle here with that card on the front. Ladder members only. Wow. So I'm wondering if they have some members only beers. Interesting. I did go into their catalog a little bit, and then I did find what we're enjoying today, the Wohlegemut. Like, I'm familiar with like a worker beer, but this is truly delightful. All right. Okay. What about this beer? I can see where it's a wine style, where it's meant to be not drinking, with the excitement or enthusiasm that we typically drink with on the podcast, but not like a sip and savor almost, like enjoy the process, don't rush off to the next beer. I'm glad I did this one first, knowing that we're going to have a IPA as the second beer. But I'm really trying to push the envelope, Chuggalos, on, personally, on the beers, at least, and I've done this in years past. I know, like, in year 5, if I go back to the, what I was trying to bring, I was trying to find new brews or whatever, and Munichwine now is going to be, I just don't see them very much, but it's such a niche, and it's only been around for 6 years, so I can understand, businesses wanting to make profit, but also creating special, unique, and divisive products like this. This is, again, fantastic. Not much, as you can see, not much carbonation to it. Just, it's so subtly carbonated. Man, what to do about this? It's definitely a one-off. Like, you couldn't just sit and drink that all day. With the understanding, yes, it's 13%. Yes, it hides it well. But it still is 13%. You got to know that eventually that's going to catch up with you. Obviously, it's not going to be served in a pint glass because of that legal limit, being a double digit, a 13% beer. But it's going to be like a snifter of some sort that, you can feel sophisticated on, maybe with a smoking jacket, some penny loafers. And you can talk about, tax shelters with friends, family, and loved ones. Okay, off the top rope. One, this is the best Munich wine I've ever had. So let's get that off the table. Let's stop that debate. I like that it's somewhat gimmickless in that there's not a bunch of adjuncts in there. We're starting to really get to that point where we, JT and I, can really break down and be like, all right, this beer doesn't have something that sets it apart from, it's a milkshake, almond, unicorn tears, and, the twice blooming parenthetical flower of Malaysia. Sometimes it's almost like the Pilsner ideal is that you get 4 ingredients, whatever balance you put them in is how you figure it out. And with this, we've got the basic ingredients, but we have to stick to Munich malts. We have to stick to this process, and the product that comes out, hopefully it's something that the masses or whoever's going to drink this enjoy. I would buy this again wholeheartedly. The price point on this is $20 for this bottle. I feel like that's a great value for the experience, for the uniqueness of it. Is there, like if it's just a basic imperial stout, is that something? No, it would have to differentiate itself. The fact that it's a Munichwine and it's something new, different, and again, it's a lot more luxurious, velvety than a other barley wine, just a standard barley wine, and that's super enjoyable. And barley wines, I just had this conversation with people at work today, or not today, but a couple days ago, who I didn't know I did a beer podcast with JT. Sorry, Stacy. And also was like, what kind of beers? And I go, IPA, sours, barley wine, stouts, in that order. And I can rattle them off, and I can confidently say that's my order. And everyone's like gobsmacked because they're like, that's such a weird order. And then they always ask about barley wines, because barley wines is the random in that if you look at a portfolio, there's always going to be an IPA. There's probably going to be a basic sour, if nothing else, and there will be a stout. But barley wines hardly ever at most places, most restaurants or whatever. So it's interesting because now I know I can associate Munichwine, barley wine, same family, just sisters of a different variety. Which I'm going to write that down. That might be a good episode title. Off the top rope. I'm vacillating. I always am. Different. Okay, that's my prompt. I'm going to give this a 4.75. It's the best one I've had. I have to leave room for, and there can be more fives. It's the Advent Calendar dilemma. Yes, you can have multiple fives in the same genre, but like, what would I do different? I don't know what I would do different, because this is the benchmark for Munich wines. Could Munich wines, if every Munich wine that I have from here on forward, could it be just a 4.75? Could this be well done? Nelsonville seems like it would be. They don't have hours on their website. I would sure hope that they're open, or they have availability for purchases. I'll have to talk to people. Again, 4.75. I feel quite good. Man, Happy Hollow, you just made the list. I'm glad that Jericho brought that back. That's another thing I wanted to talk about, and the reason why I wanted to do this, in case I don't get to it, I want to get to my Wrestlemania picks. So this might be a little bit longer. Off to beer number 2. Let's check out beer number 2. Beer number 2 I'm stupid excited for, and I'll show you why. This is Costa Azul, which is a grapefruit IPA, 7% from our friends at Coronado. We just had a Coronado. Coronado is a JT brewery, and I say that because it's California. So JT spent a lot of his formative years, his early career in California, and has an affinity for it, and always speaks highly of San Diego and the Gas Lamp District. So I'm excited. Grapefruit IPA. Grapefruit, by the way, Matt, trivia fact, grapefruit is the number one fruit that I want in my IPA. 3, 2, 1, let it fly. All right. Oh, it's all grapefruit on the nose. Oh, at work, here's a bit of fruit trivia. We were doing trivia, and I should have said this. I should have led off with this last episode, or this episode. I apologize for the technical difficulties. And Chuggalo Mom pointed it out. It was completely my fault. I blindly clicked start recording. I must have clicked off, and then we missed a lot of good fun information in there. But your fruit trivia question relates to this. Is if you combine a pomelo, and a mandarin, what fruit do you get? And you can pause, you can think about it. And if you answer it correctly and honestly and put that answer down below without Googling it, without Googling it. I won't. I'll buy you a beer. I always buy my beer, pay my beer debts. Three people at the advent calendar took me up on that. Chuggalo Mom, Chuggalos Stev, and then a new listener that came in, Pete. So it was excellent. People listening to those lead up episodes, those formative episodes going into the advent calendar build. Oh yeah, that's all grapefruit. It's done. It's over. It's the perfect IPA right there. It's just 100% grape. Like, we talk about one hopped IPAs. We talk about, like, Monteca, when it takes over, you're going to get it into a very dank, a very special build. Grapefruit in IPAs, please. This would be my standard. I just can't. I don't know how I would be able to back off. I don't know how I'd be able to turn this down. This is going to be like that typical Midwestern, like, hey, you go out for drinks or whatever at 5 o'clock with the guys. You know, the steam whistle went off, the shift is over, and you go there. And this happened to me, fun story, beer related. Went to the Wandering Griffin this last week. Our VP retired, and he had a gathering at the Wandering Griffin. And whatever you think about the Wandering Griffin, it's not my choice. I think their beer is subpar. Sorry, Stacey, I've been on record as saying that multiple times. But there was an individual that goes, I'm good for one. Excellent. Typical Midwestern thing. 3 beers later, I had to go before he went. And he was leaving town. He was going back north. He's from New York. He was driving. He's like, I got to mow the lawn. I got to do all this stuff. And it's interesting how, like, that conversation and everyone trying to one-up themselves and really, like, that beer ethic, that conversation, that companionship, that community really just gets people going and gets that juices flowing. And, again, no one's driving inebriated or anything like that. We're not talking, like, 6 beers going on to 7. We're talking 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 3. That's it. And the interesting thing... we were regaling with it at work the next day. Obviously, that individual wasn't there. But everyone was surprised that it was just like, hey. And 9 times out of 10, they're not buying the beer, that person that needs to get out of there, that has an exit strategy, that wants to do an Irish goodbye. But if you put one in front of them and be like, hey, man, it's an unspoken rule that it's like, hey, we enjoy your company, you're completing this circle, you're completing the energy, keep it going, keep us whole, and just kept going. I think it was like over an hour and a half after they said, hey, I have a hard out. Well, how hard is it? That would be another good. How hard is it? Sisters of a different now I forgot, I didn't write that. How hard is it? I can't. We're gonna go. We'll go to the website on this one while I just sit and enjoy this one. So CoronadoBrewing.com, and I just started on our About Us since 1996. So they're 30 years in. That's awesome. I mean, picturesque. Our story. We opened doors to our beach town brew pub on Coronado Island. I think JT's talked about it. Is that the one with the crazy bridge, JT? We wanted to be the kind of place where friends could enjoy our great beer, a good meal, and laid-back atmosphere. Pair it together. Look at that. You know, I'm not that old, 43, but, man, this looks like a lifetime away. The founders, brothers in business, pioneers of craft brewing. They found themselves in an industry of one of 5 in San Diego. So they were one of the first 5 brew houses in San Diego, which is crazy because San Diego is such a bastion of craft beer. They worked with the original brewing system of 10, then wow. It's crazy. And then they keep it all fits on one, and they're the OGs. 30 years. And look how nice I want that beer opener though. You're going to get tinnitus, or not tinnitus, tetanus. Tinnitus is in the ears. That's got to be the first beer opener that they have crafted. That's awesome. Video, I'm not going to play the video, but that looks really cool. Beer news. I don't know if we're going to do beer news. We might not have time for beer news. The one big beer news thing was Heineken laying off 6,000 people because beer sales are down. We used to be a lot bigger on the Brew Crew podcast about beer news, and a lot of it is we're trying to find positives to talk about, and a lot of it is so sullen. So, like, in retrospect, a lot of people are just trying to stay afloat, looking at that spectacle that is Coronado Brewing Company being right on the ocean there, Coronado Island. It's interesting trying to find, like, new breweries open. Like, Ohio last year was -3 breweries, 42 closed, 39 opened. It just seems like it's a weird time, and people are making positive decisions. People are changing, their lifestyle habits, looking to other outlets, looking to other socialization sparks. It's interesting, and I don't see a change on the horizon. I don't know if any innovators are out there or looking. CBD or THC drinks seem to be that next, like seltzers were 4 or 5 years ago. Like when we started the podcast, I remember 6 years, 8 years in, but 6 years ago we were like, ooh, seltzers. There's so many more companies than there were. If we had one sub for every new company of seltzer that was out there, we would probably have 600 to 700 subs. Easy. But we'll get there. This beer, off the top rope, it's a 5. Again, we talk about how do you do it different. I hope it's not seasonal. Limited release. Look at that. It's seasonal. I need to buy all of this. Just flats of it. It's perfect. Grapefruit IPA. I got this from our friends at Hall's. I might have to go there before I skip town and just be like, I want all of your Costa Azul from Coronado Brewing Company. 7%, perfect, tall boy, pint can, perfect beer. 5s all day. I need to write that down. All right. So in case I don't get to it, next weekend, so at this time next weekend, if everything goes right, I'll be on my way to Wrestlemania with friends. I'm not going to Vegas. The tickets are ridiculous. See CM Punk's opening to Raw, cold open to Raw last week. His pipe bomb part 2. But we're gonna go over my Wrestlemania picks. Still a lifelong wrestling fan. I've got my. I'm gonna step off screen because I didn't plan this. Here we go. Boom. That quick because I gotta pack this. This is what I use for Wrestlemania weekend. This is one of my prized possessions given to me by one of my groomsmen in my wedding, Pete. I love this. If you're ever doing a power hour, this is the best because you pour it like an asshole, as I like to say. And it's look at it compared to a pint can. It just gets rid of that carbonation and it becomes a concept. But look at, one of my prized possessions. Seriously, that's going with me. All right. So wrestling fan till the day I die. We're gonna go through some of the matches. We're gonna go through my guesses. 24 minutes in. At this point, it's going to be pretty much wrestling from here on out. But wrestling and beer for me, with friends, with Pete, John, and Joe, we're integrated. We invited JT to a WrestleMania weekend one weekend. It's a lot of fun. Hijinks, shenanigans, and chicanery. All right, we're going to go match by match. 2 nights. WrestleMania's 2 nights. The Vision, Logan Paul and Austin Theory verse. And I Show Speed. Ugh, gross. I don't need famous people involved in my stuff, especially fringe people like I Show Speed. I know why. They want clicks. They want another podcast, more beer. First, the Usos and LA Knight. I love LA Knight. I wish he would have had the energy that he does now. I think he's my age. We're peers. I wish he would have had it 10 years ago. Even though he's a rehash of what worked during the Attitude Era as far as mic skills, he's sharp, he's quick-witted. Like everything. I hope the faces go over here. Faces are good guys. Heels are bad guys. I can see the faces. I can see Braun Breaker coming back and getting involved. Jacob Fatu versus Drew McIntyre is going to be a banger of the match. It has a potential to be a match of the night. Does the face go over here? I think he needs it. He had a layoff. He just had 12 teeth extracted. Crazy. Stephanie Vakir versus Liv Morgan. What a great for the Women's World Championship. Man, I see Stephanie retaining here. AJ Lee for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. AJ Lee, a part-timer, CM Punk's wife, versus Becky Lynch. I see Becky Lynch all day on this one. She needs the belt. She needs to continue. She does the chicken shit heel better than most people have ever done in their careers. She's fantastic at it. The Irresistible Forces, bad name for that team. Nia Jackson, Lash Legend. Team Thickness versus Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss versus Bayley and Lyra Valkyria versus the Bella Twins. This is one of those, like, everyone on... I hope Bayley wins. I love Bayley. Nothing but props to Bayley. Bayley carried the women's division for so long and still does it and does so much for women's wrestling. And that's important. And I just think it's a goodwill mission for her. And this is for the tag belts, the women's tag belts. Please, Bayley, win. Probably what is going to be the match of the night, Seth Rollins versus Gunther. This was thrown together 2 weeks ago. Seth Rollins came back, and then Gunther, after taking the careers of John Cena, taking the careers of AJ Styles, and then Goldberg last year. This is not a career match by any means. This is a coin flip for me. Man, who needs it more? It's not a career match, so I think Seth Rollins coming back, becoming the face again after being a heel with the Vision and then going out with that injury. I think Seth Rollins takes it. Maybe a schmaz on that match. Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton, Pat There's so much, not enough beer in the house to talk about this. Why Pat McAfee? I understand his agent is Ari Emanuel. Ari Emanuel leads up TKO. TKO owns WWE. Just connect the dots. I'd like to see Randy get 15. Is Randy the person that should break John Cena's record that he just got with 17 belts? Probably. Randy says that he wants to wrestle another 10 years ago. That was a year ago, so another 9 years. Man, it would just be too hard to deny him. But is he just going to become that steady upper mid-card hand that doesn't need the belt, but you go through Randy to get there? And you can turn him heel. He can be such a face because that entrance music and that, but he can be such a great cerebral heel too. Night number 2. God, bangers. Oba Femi versus Brock Lesnar. I'm looking forward to this. If you know anything, I'm a big meaty type guy. Oba Femi versus Brock Lesnar. Is this the presumptive... Brock Lesnar's not retiring, but is this the presumptive, we need to crown Oba Femi? So, I think Oba wins it, and Brock has been doing so much coaching. If you watch the promos, if you watch the exchanges, Brock is being so gracious, and I can't wait to talk about this more for people, by being patient and kind of directing Oba in the ring. If you look at that stuff, it's nice to see the dramedy that wrestling is at times. The ladder match for the Intercontinental belt for Penta, who's the champion, Javon Evans, who is just Mr. Bouncy, Dragon Lee, throwaway, JD McDonough, throwaway, Rusev. I wish they had more for Rusev since he returned. I really enjoy Rusev. I think he's enjoying his spot. It seems to be, instead of the stop-and-go booking of AEW, versus Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio is just an add-on to pop the crowd. He doesn't need to be there. Man, Do they give Javon his flowers? And Javon is 21, 22, and has all the talent in the world and seems to just be entertaining. I mean, he's been on a rocket ship ever since this short stint in NXT. Obviously, Ray's not winning it. Rusev's not winning it. JD McDonough's not winning it. Penta retains in a car crash of a match. Jade Cargill versus Rhea Ripley. Jade can't wrestle. I don't see where Rhea doesn't win this. It's going to be a salvage of a match. This is going to be like where they shrink the card. This could be a 5-minute match. Jade looks like $1 million. She just can't wrestle. Sami Zayn versus Trick Williams. This could have, an upper echelon type for the United States Championship match. Man, Trick, is Sami going to get his world title run? Is that going to happen? No one knows. Coin flip. I'm going to go with Trick Williams. I think you need to have a minor belt before you go for a major belt. The Finn Balor, who's coming back as the Demon, who sat dormant for a long time, versus Dominic Mysterio. The Demon, come on. I wouldn't mind if this is a squash match. I know that everyone says that Dominic Mysterio is the presumptive next thing. He's young. WWE needs to get more youthful. They need to have that Southern bastion of... And Dominic Mysterio is so good at what he does. I just can't... I'm old school where I can't buy him as... He's not muscular. He's... I could have a Dominic Mysterio physique. I just don't see it. He lives off of chicken nuggets. I appreciate the diet. There's going to be potentially another match in here. It depends on the Bella's health or whatever. But if they don't give us EO on a WrestleMania card, it's a fucking failure. We don't want the Bella Twins. No one wants the Bella Twins. They weren't a strength in the women's division. And then CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. Man, and this is before SmackDown. So we have 2 more, well, after tonight, including tonight, 3 go-home shows. We have SmackDown, then we have Raw, then we have the SmackDown leading into WrestleMania. I think CM Punk retains. I do. And I like Roman Reigns' package. I just think that CM Punk is putting in the time, and even if he perceives that he cares and we're supposed to suspend disbelief and just go with it, I like how he's packaged. Even though he's never really been my cup of tea, you need to watch when he's on outside of his ring work. His ring work is whatever, but his mic work is just top tier. He probably goes down on the Mount Rushmore of mic work. There was one other big thing that I should have wrote it down. That's just how my mind works. I'm excited for this card. The build-up has been terrible, bad to terrible on most of these. They have a couple, like the Io Sky, Asuka, like that stuff needs to be in there because those ladies put in work and they're amazing at what they do. It's so talented. Like, and I know that's a polarizing, but we bring up polarizing topics all the time. Is it going to go down as a top 5 WrestleMania? There's no way, unless Oba Femi and Brock. There could be some, and there's always the excitement for the Monday after Raw because they are Raw after Mania because they always save something good for that. Long draw there. Such a good beer. It's just one of my favorite times of the year. And on a personal note, I was almost going to miss all of this because of other things that were scheduled and world events and everything changed all that. So I'm going to be able to take part in it in one of my favorite traditions. I'm a traditionalist. I like when things stay the same, especially when you enjoy them and you have such an aura or hallmark around them. But yeah, this is looking forward to it. I can't wait. I'm going to tell John, Joe, and Pete to listen from about 24 minutes on to 35, and I'm going to give my rundown. And I'm normally very bad. John, Joe, and Pete I hold in high regard because they may not keep up with the product. They do a lot better, but there was a while there where they were asking me questions, and I always felt humble or very fortunate in the situation because, man, all three of those aforementioned individuals have forgotten more than I know about wrestling, but really just do a good job of like making sure like I'm included and like speaking to me on and they'll laugh and everything like that. But because I've always had a continuity. I still follow like AEW. I still follow NXT, and those guys are Pete has got his son that's into it now, and it's just nice to keep all of that going and all of that magic. I mean, we're going on 30 years. They've all been friends. I was the last one to this group. They've all been friends for 40 years. I'm the youngest in the group. We're all the same graduating class, but I'm the youngest in the group. And for much longer, and big inside jokes and everything like that. But so it's fun to just participate and regale about all of these old times because if anything, I have a massive nostalgia boner, which probably would YouTube get me for labeling it nostalgia boner? It's just an inside joke, but it's a good one because I always look back fondly on those simpler times. But that's going to be it for episode 377. We had a Munichwine. We had a Coronado IPA. Again, Costa Azul. If you ever see this, I will buy it. 7%. God, grapefruit in an IPA. Who knew? Not us. Thanks, Paul Rudd, for that. Probably one of the best wholesome memes of all time. But that's it. 377. We're done. We did it.
Are you having a good day?
Cheers.